So, a new update has just arrived. True, it doesn't include Season 7 and Captaincy as originally planned due to the delay, but it's still a relatively big update, at least compared to the usual monthly updates. Good Outpost is back, we've got a new Emporium and Outpost Cosmetics set, the Submarines building is being built, and we've got some pretty cool balancing and PvP changes as well. Hey, the boss is Joyso, and without any further ado, let's get started. So let's start with the world changes, because now that the Lost Sands adventure is over, it's been about 2 weeks by the way, we've got one of the most popular outposts in the game back. Which means that now you can spawn at Golden Sands, sell loot, buy goods at Golden Sands, and the outpost itself is back in the merchant trader's rotation as well. Of course, as you can see, the outpost itself is not the same as it used to be, traces of the battle have been preserved, and the developers have even commemorated parts of the adventure itself. For example, sail clothes boxes can be found next to the shipwright, rum bottles can be found next to the tavern, and last but not least, a commemorative flag has been placed near Merrick's position during the adventure. Oh, and the outpost is now called New Golden Sands Outpost for some reason. Pirate Emporium. Here's a bunch of cosmetics again, this time with a prehistoric Jurassic Park kind of theme. I think the costume looks pretty good, but the shipset is not really my taste. There is also new weapons that I think are useless for serious PvP at first glance, a new emote pack that I think is cool, and a new free emote that you should definitely use if you're going to the brig. Oh, and look, they did it! They said the line. Then there is also a new set of clothes in the regular Outpost Clothing store, which this time is a Ruffian Sea Dog recolor in a yellowish, white, brownish color. I don't understand why, if the Ruffian Sea Dog set was recolored, we only got the clothing set of this recoloring, because there is a ship set and an equipment set of this set, for example. Not that that's the biggest problem with the recolors that have been coming out lately. Actually, what I find regrettable about this whole system is that the developers keep recoloring variants of Submarine, Sea Dog, Beardred, Admiral and all the variations of these sets, and always in the same 4 or 5 color palettes. The Cultured Aristocrat set, for example, was good back in the day because they used a new color palette for a set that didn't have any other recolored versions in the game at the time, except for Insider and Black Dog sets, of course, which were kind of recolors of the Aristocrat set, but you can get those just by playing the retail version of the game. Now let's move on to the gameplay improvements. First of all, food barrels in skeleton forts are now stocked with a wider range of food, and each barrel contains a larger supply. What this means in short is that it will now be easier to survive a skeleton fort for all the 10 players in the game who are still doing skeleton forts. In addition, barrels holding cannonballs in skeleton forts now use a cannonball barrel's visual appearance. To be honest, I don't know what significance this has, because I don't think it was hard to deduce that the barrels next to cannons were holding cannonballs before. But I guess it's not a bad thing that they made it easier. And on top of these 4 changes, we got a little damage nerf for all the skeletons popping up around the islands. And finally, let's look at the fixes. Players should no longer experience an extended wait time on the ferry of the damned before the portal opens. What this means is that they fixed the bug where the game would eventually only let you through the ferryman's door when you pass the 30-second time waiting on the ferry, which wasn't correct because the waiting time on the ferry should be like 70 seconds or so, or I don't know. Players once again should be able to deliver fruit crates and wood crates to the Merchant Alliance and no longer be redirected to Merrick. That's a good thing, because obviously after Lost Sands ended, you were still redirected to Merrick with all these crates, even though Merrick wasn't there on Golden Sands and you couldn't sell these to Merrick either. After phasing through the tunnels of the damned, crews should now find that players they encounter in the world can still be muted when using mute or other crew's voice chat from the settings menu. Okay, this is just a simple fix, let's move on. The place map bundle tooltip should no longer be shown at the captain's table when a player is not in possession of a map bundle, that's a good change too. We have a bunch of Legend of the Whale Voyage fixes which I won't read all through because I'm not really interested in Legend of the Whale anymore. I will only do this voyage when we have new emissary rewards for Athena, and then once I have that emissary reward I will probably stop playing it. I don't know. What I think about Legend of the Whale is that the voyage itself is very good and it's very well put together, but I got bored of it for the 3rd time and I don't want to grind like Athena 30 for some weapons that don't even look good. Oh, and of course I know we have like an ancient chipset for that, but I don't really like that chipset either. We also have some environmental changes. The pet cage aboard sloop has been moved back to give players an easier access to the map table. The captain's table, maybe, or the voyage table, whatever you want to call it. I don't think the Batcage was ever any close to the map table, so I guess that's just like, you know, a miswording. Players who attempt to jump on the bookcase on the sloop should no longer be loaded back onto the ship. I hope they fixed it too on the Brigantine, because in the Brigantine there was a bug where if you jump to the captain's / voyage table, you just warp back to the main deck instead of, you know, black screening. Players should no longer find a floating candle above an interactable barrel as Sharkbait Co. Grog bottles in Old Brimstone Fortress no longer float above the ground. Pets cannot be placed on a sloop's bed. When swimming in deep water or flooded rooms, players' pets should no longer walk around underwater. What? Players should no longer be able to walk through pillars next to the storeroom in Sea Fort. Dragons, Mercies and Sea Fort should no longer be intersect with the floor. Players should no longer be able to walk through wooden crates at Imperial Fortress, Traitor's Fate Fortress and Mercies and Fortress. Wow. Players can no longer pass through the hanging barrels near the treasury room at Imperial Crown Fortress or Old Brimstone Fortress. Within the Pirate Legend hideout, players should no longer be able to push through the seafloor and appear onto the open sea. I doubt that. I just think players will find another way, always a new way to glitch out of the Pirate Legend hideout. It's no way they're gonna fix this in like half a year normally. Okay, we have some visual and audio fixes. I usually don't read through these, but I heard that we get some PvP changes or changes that affect PvP in this section as well. Players should no longer be able to strike at a location where another player may be respawning and hear the audio effect, confirming the player's location. Oh yeah, so they once again fixed this sword exploit where you could just slash the spawn location and you could hear the sound when you hit a player with the sword before the player spawned, indicating that yes, this is the place where the player will spawn next. I don't know, I think they fixed this like before, half a year ago or even longer, but it seemed like this bug still persisted, so they just made another fix. Hopefully this solves this problem, because it's really, I don't know, it's kind of a disgusting exploit. Legendary Luke in the Pirate Legend hideout has now voiceover lines when speaking. Wait, he didn't have any lines since 2018? Am I reading this correct? Okay, I don't know. Players and pets should now sit correctly inside the Magpie's Glory and Silent Barnacle cannons when loaded. Okay, that's good. They fixed the golden ghost cannons. That's good. So that's a good change, because I used the Magpie's Glory cannons frequently in the past few sessions when I played, and it was really annoying, to be honest. Equipping the Spring Blossom figurehead or Collector Spring Blossom figurehead on a sloop should no longer show floating objects beneath the figurehead. Okay. During the maiden voyage, the robot lantern is now connected correctly to the robot. Okay, not like so many players play the maiden voyage. And even the new ones who play don't even notice the robot, so whatever. Pets offered food will now move smoothly to the right position before taking a bite. The Eternal Freedom will now cast a shadow on the deck. By holding an instrument of the damned, looking at smoke should no longer cause the smoke to appear in front of the instrument. Wait, does this mean they fixed the fog exploit with these instruments as well, or is it totally different? Because there is an exploit, or rather a bug or a glitch, that lets you see through the fog with these instruments and the town card equipped. So basically you look through these ghostly equipments and you can see the world as if there was no fog around you. But I guess that's not a fix for that, that's just fix for something related to smoke. Walking over wooden planks in Old Brimstone Fortress should now cause the correct sounds to be here. Okay, that's just, silly audio bug fixed. Players should no longer see an option to sit mid-av and taking the fat side to get dagger tooth. Okay. Players should no longer encounter oversized projectile fired from a trident of dark dyes. Oh, that was a nice bug though. It looked actually funny. Okay, and now we have some performance and stability fixes as well, but these are just basically fixes for your own client. Improvements made to reduce scenarios where players can experience extended black screen loading times by using a mermaid or returning from the Ferry of the Damned. Well, unfortunately this is not a real fix, this is just improvements made to reduce these, but I hope they will fix it, because it's really annoying when you just use the merm or go back from ferry and you have to wait 30 seconds or even a minute to get loaded to the place you're supposed to load to. Improvements made the accuracy of players' firing location when shooting a ranged weapon. This is intended to improve hit reg across the range of gameplay scenarios where player is moving while firing. Okay, so this is a hit reg improvement, so hopefully this kind of fixes or reduces the scenarios where you can just backtrack the opponent from very far away. Server optimizations made to reduce frequency of server performance spikes and rubber banding. This was included in the past 4 or 5 patch notes, and I still don't see any improvement regarding this. Server stability has been improved using scenarios where crews are removed from a game session. This is also included in the last 5 or 6 patch notes, and I still don't see any improvement made on that. Okay, I've been talking about everything that came in this update. I hope you enjoyed this quick read through the patch notes. And if you did, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I was Joyso, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.